Hey everybody, this is our first video where we're going to be working through this slideshow together, going over some really amazing fossil specimens. I just want to go over this real quick. If you ever need help, I will just refer back to this video to show you what this is. What we are going to have 9 different fossils that I want to share with you guys as we're talking about them. They're not going to take up our entire lesson for that day. Some of them may. Some of them will just be quick introduction because I just want to blast you guys with as much information about fossils as possible. And this is my way of doing it because there are so many different fossil specimens that are out there that are absolutely amazing. This is just a few of them, but I just picked them for different reasons, and I wanted to share those with you. So I just want to show you real quick what you're going to see for your work. In class, I would have given you this as a packet, but I think it would be easier if I gave you one a day instead of giving you all 9 of them at once in one Google Doc. You will be responsible for sending in this Google Doc with notes, so I can see that you are following along with me that way. So, all right, let's just take a look at this real quick. So what you will see with your Google Docs that I'll send you guys is you'll see where it says, here we go. So this is our first fossil, for example, fossil 2, fossil 3, fossil 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. Okay, 9, super cool. Can't wait to talk about that one. All right, so what you will see, place here for your name. Please put your name on there, of course. And then what I'll do in the video is really just kind of give you time to write down or type in this spot right here what you see. What are you noticing about this? Give me some of your observations there. And then here, give me an idea of why you think this is important. I picked each one of these fossils because they represent something groundbreaking that taught us about this animal or life on our planet millions of years ago when no one was around to see it happening. But these fossils tell us that something was happening. So why do you think these fossils are so important? So like when you look at this one, for example, why do you think it's such a big deal? Why is it so important? And then down here at this part here where it says notes from the video, what I will say is I will give you some details about this animal. I'll give you the name. I'll give you the time period where it was when it was living on our planet, and then some facts about why this fossil is important. You do not need to write down everything that I'm saying, but I do want you to write down some of those major details, like the name of the animal, the time period it was from, and then why this was important. Those are the big 3 things, okay? So that's what I want you typing into there, okay? And then anything else that I may need to add in for the day, maybe at the end of that Google Doc, it will just depend on the day. Always read the instructions for the day of that, okay? So we are going to go ahead and start out on those fossils here. So let me show you. So fossils, give this the title. It's loading here. Glimpses into lost worlds. And the reason why is that the world when these animals were living, it's lost now. Our planet is very different than when these animals were alive. So these worlds that these animals were living in are completely lost to us right now. That's why I say that. And these fossils only give us a small glimpse into it. We have some amazing fossils, but it is just a small percentage of the animals that were actually alive back then. So just to kind of show you this is the geologic time scale. Everything that we're going to talk about falls somewhere on this scale. And if you notice right here at the top, it shows people with a pickup truck. That is now. And if we were to dig down, think about the age of the rocks and the fossils that we would see if we dug down. All right. We're going to see things that are older, right? So this is now, and if we dig down further and further, we're going to find older rocks, older specimens, older animals, older plants, right? This is a way that we organize the Earth's history into eras and periods, right? So this is an era, this is an era, this is also an area, era, sorry, and then there are specific periods inside of that. You're going to learn a lot about this in middle school, but my job is to introduce this to you. All right, so each era and period is defined by the fossils that are found within those layers, and each era ends in a major extinction event. So the reason why we separate these is what we see down here in the Paleozoic. A lot of the animals have things in common that we don't see up here in the Mesozoic. In the Mesozoic, a lot of the animals have things in common that we don't see in the Paleozoic, and then the Cenozoic up here. And each one is separated by a major extinction. So the one extinction that we all know is the extinction of the dinosaurs. That is right here. But there have also been other extinctions, some of them worse than the dinosaurs, like right here, the Permian extinction. Okay, gigantic extinction took place here. And then many extinctions also took place. So this is what I want you to think about, right? The Paleozoic. Now, if we were in class, I would tell everyone to say Paleozoic, and you are more than welcome to say that now. Don't worry about sounding weird. You know, if you just randomly say Paleozoic out loud, right? It's the age of fish. Down here, we call it the age of fish, not because everything alive back then were fish, but we see an overwhelming fossil evidence of ocean life. Okay, so there were other animals alive during this time period as well, but the major fossil group we see in the Paleozoic are ocean animals, fish animals, things that lived in water. The Mesozoic, right? Meso means middle. Mesozoic is the age of reptiles, and that's what everyone knows about dinosaurs. Jurassic Park right there. There you go. Even though most of the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park were not from the Jurassic, mainly from the Cretaceous, so it should have technically been named Cretaceous Park, but never mind. Mesozoic is the time period of reptiles. There were other animals alive during that time period as well, but the major life form on our planet were reptiles, dinosaurs. Major extinction, dinosaurs are gone. Some reptiles are still alive, right? Think about like snakes, lizards, turtles, alligators, crocodiles. But this is the Cenozoic. This is the age of mammals. We are in the age of mammals right now because the main life form, if you will, on our planet are mammals, have completely taken over the planet. Mammals cover every continent of the world. So even though we have fish and reptiles alive now, we call this the age of mammals because the main life form, the dominant life form is mammals, like the dominant life form here were reptiles with the dinosaurs, and the dominant life form during this time period were fish and ocean animals. All right, so that brings us to this, right? So fossils give us a look into worlds that are long gone. Not all fossils are complete, but a rare few give us the opportunity to learn about long extinct animals and ecosystems. Like, for example, these ants that have been trapped in amber. Right, we're going to talk about a fossil specimen that has been trapped in amber, and going back to Jurassic Park, we know that because of that whole storyline, right? But these fossils give us a good idea of what was going on our planet millions of years ago. All right, so that brings us to this first fossil right here. This is an Ichthyosaurus. So that is the name of this fossil specimen, and I want you to write that down in the notes from the slideshow. So that's going to go in that next box. I'm going to have you pause this in a moment where I want you to look at this picture, look at the picture on your paper. What do you notice, and why do you think this fossil is important? And then I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to give you some details about this. So pause the video, write down your things, give me some good sentences and details here, and then push play when you're ready, and then we'll talk about it. Go ahead and pause if you haven't paused yet, if you're one of those cheaters. Okay, here we go. So Ichthyosaurus, this is an amazing fossil, and I would love to have conversation with you guys face to face about this. So some of you may have noticed saurus, okay, at the end of it. Saurus is a Latin phrase or word part for lizard or reptile, right? So here's the neat thing. This is a marine reptile from the Mesozoic era. So Mesozoic, that is the time period of the dinosaurs, okay? This is the age of reptiles. Now, here's what's amazing about this. This is not a dinosaur. We're going to talk about why this is not a dinosaur, what makes a dinosaur later, but this is a marine reptile, meaning that this was a reptile that lived in the oceans, okay? And this is proof that this animal gave live birth. This was a female ichthyosaur that died while it was giving birth. So what you see right there is the skeleton of a baby ichthyosaur that died when its mother died. Why? We don't know, right? So check this out. Look, this thing had a very large eye. This is the eye socket. It had flippers like a dolphin. This thing basically had a body plan very similar to a dolphin, but it wasn't a dolphin because dolphins are mammals. This was a reptile. But this was a reptile that looked like a dolphin, lived in the oceans during the time of the dinosaurs, and it gave live birth. Look, here's the skeleton. Look at the eye socket of the baby. Here's the backbone. Here's the tail, right? This is an amazing example of that. And here's another interesting fact. This skeleton also tells us that this animal breathed air because the baby was being born tail first. Why? Because what we do when we have skeletons like this, there's no special tag that says, congratulations, you found an ichthyosaur skeleton. Here's everything you need to know about ichthyosaurs. This is all detective work. And we would not have known any of this if we had not found this fossil. So what we do is we do something that's called comparative anatomy. We look at animals that are dead, extinct, like this ichthyosaur. We look at modern day animals that are similar to it, like dolphins, for example. That's the closest thing we have, and compare them. Comparative anatomy or comparative biology. So we notice that dolphins, when they give birth, the babies or the dolphin calves are born tail first because dolphins breathe air. If that baby is born head first, that means that baby has to hold its breath the entire time it's being born, and that's not going to happen. So this baby is going to be born tail first. As soon as that baby is born, that mother is going to help it swim to the surface immediately to get its first breath of air. That's what dolphins do. So when we see the skeleton with a baby being born tail first, that is proof to us that this thing breathed air like dolphins did. But it's not a dolphin. It's a dolphin-like reptile. If you're thinking that sounds weird, you're right. It is weird, but that's amazing. This animal was alive during the Mesozoic time period, during the time of reptiles, during the time of dinosaurs. If I were in the room with an ichthyosaur, this is how big it would be next to me, right? So if you've ever read enough dinosaur books and you've seen that black outline of somebody, so I want you to imagine someone that is about 6 feet tall. Maybe you have a family member, maybe your mom or dad are that tall, or if you can visualize how tall I am, that is the approximate height of these silhouettes they give you in the book. So ichthyosaurs were a pretty good animal, right? Pretty good size of that. And then here is an artist's interpretation of what they think an ichthyosaur would have looked like. Now, this is another neat thing about studying fossils. There's a whole other area of this called paleo art. So if you like fossils and you like drawing, you could possibly have a career of being a paleo artist, because these people are very talented in art and know their science when it comes to fossils. So here we go. This is what we think ichthyosaurs looked like. Large eyes for hunting in the dark, or hunting in, they couldn't go too far because they breathed air. They had to stay to the surface. So they think that maybe they hunted mostly at night. Rows of sharp teeth. We have the tail that goes side to side like a shark. Dolphins, their tail go up and down, which gives them more speed. That up and down motion propels them faster through the water. And then we have these fins. So here's this artist drawing this, what looks like a mother ichthyosaur, with the possibility of these being the two calves. And we know from other ichthyosaur fossils that there was a possibility of them giving birth to more than one at a time. So were these baby ichthyosaurs being protected by their mother for a while, or were they completely on their own after they were born? We don't know. That's part of the mystery of that. So that is our first fossil, the ichthyosaur. Our next fossil for tomorrow is the Oviraptor. So that's the picture, that is the name, and we'll be talking about this one tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great